lookup problem here. We need to look up this value. Now, if we use VLOOKUP, no problem. It would look this number up, and as a metaphor, what it does is it races down the column, and when it bumps into the first bigger number, it jumps back. So 1.65 would deliver 2.5%, but that's not what we want to do. We need to use this value as our lookup, but round to the nearest number. So 1.65 would round up to 1.75 because it's closer to 1.75 than it is to 1.5. So we're going to use VLOOKUP, but we're going to round this. Now there's two ways to do it. We're not rounding in the traditional sense. We're rounding to a particular number. I'm going to round to the nearest 0.25. The interval between each number, or the increment, is 0.25. So I'm going to use the MROUND function. In 2003 or earlier, you have to add the analysis tool pack in. So I'm going to say that's the number, comma, and what's the multiple or significance? It would be 0.25. That means round to the nearest 0.25. And if we highlight this and hit our F9 key, you can see, sure enough, it's going up to 1.75, which it will find here. Control Z, comma, and then the VLOOKUP table. I'm going to highlight the whole table there, comma, the value we're returning is in the second column. Close parentheses and Control Enter. So now if I change this to 1.55, it better give me the 2.5. If I change it to 1.45, it still better be the 2.5, even though that 1.5 is below, it's rounding up. Now in earlier versions, or if for some reason you can't do the analysis tool pack, no problem. You can just use the round function, but instead of, you have to get tricky with it to round to a certain amount. So I'm going to say that number divided by 0.25. In essence, what this is saying is it's saying how many 0.25s are in that number right there, comma, and we'll round to the integer to get any of the decimals. So that'll just give me an integer amount of how many 0.25s in there, and then I will say times 0.25. All right, so that's our rounded to the nearest 0.25 lookup value, comma, and then we do our table, comma, second column, close parentheses, and Control Enter. So now if I change this to 1.7, it better give me that. If I change it to 1.95,